name is Brad. I'm part of Techbuds-Solutions. I trade OTCs here within the Techbuds-Solutions group. I have my buddy Matt here with me. We met him at the food bank here in Houston as we were helping volunteer for that, which was an awesome experience. I'm super sore and super tired from that, but it was well worth it. So anyway, we were just talking to him about what we do and what we're all about, and he wanted to know more about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask Matt here. What is it that do you know anything about OTCs? Is there something that you have in particular, a question that you're going to ask?
Well, I've been researching different methods of creating multiple sources of income for about 3 years, and diving into a specific avenue, right, isn't something that I wanted to do because I didn't want to go in kind of not necessarily blind, because I have been researching, but just without the necessary footing to do it. So I've really kind of been focusing on I've been focusing on Forex, but it didn't sound right for me personally as an investor. And then I was meeting with you today, and as we were moving, those crates, you're telling me about OTC. It sounded like something that I could actually be successful in with the right amount of work put in.
Okay.
So I know nothing about OTC.
Awesome. So you're not alone. I mean, a lot of our group have no idea. If I had $1 every time I was asked what are OTCs, I probably wouldn't have to worry about working anymore. But it's a market that's particularly not for everybody because it is very volatile, and a lot of times that scares people away. But so you have to be very disciplined to do it. And the whole cliche with you have to be diversified couldn't be more true in OTCs, just because things are so volatile. So one day you could be having a particular stock that you're invested in that may not be following the way that you want it to be, but more times than not, the predictions that we make in our own group are more on than they are off. And so the importance of that diversification is to make sure that you can make up for those losses and then some, so that we can always end up in the green, right?
Right.
So with OTCs, the biggest thing you need to know is networking. I follow a very close network of OTC traders on Twitter, and there's also an app that I can show you. It's called iHub. So I have, by the way, I just got this new phone, and it's awesome. It's the Note 8. I highly recommend it. They're not supporting me in any way, but I just love the phone. So here it is. So you have iHub here, and you go to investorshub.com is basically what it is. And so you can go in here and you can follow like-minded individuals that are trading ETCs. So, for example, one I'm following closely is IMTL. And it's Image Protect. Basically, they are a copyright imaging company. They seek out people who are plagiarizing photos and stuff like that. And it's a very small market, or it's becoming a large market, and there's a very little competitors, I should say. And they're a legit company. So when I'm looking for due diligence here, doing my due diligence, I look on Investors Hub to see who's talking about it and that sort of thing. And then I can go to the boards to see who's talking about it here. But also, within Techbuds-Solutions, we have a Discord chat group. And so here is Discord, and you can see this is my OTC's chat here. And so, we have a whole group of members within Techbuds-Solutions that are shouting out specific tickers and then explaining why they think they see value within the company. And with OTCs, it's not something that's like an instant gratification most times. Of course, you can ride certain waves if news comes out, but a lot of times we buy into something like this and at the bottom, rock bottom before any kind of movement takes place. And so we do that, and then we anticipate news coming. So like, for example, IMTL, the ticker that I showed you, they issued out Form 4s, which Form 4s are disclosures that executive officers within the company are buying the shares of their own company. It's something that they legally have to do. So the thing that tips a trader off is, if the executive officers are buying shares of the company, typically they're not buying the shares if they anticipate losing money on them. So they buy them up in anticipation of some kind of big news.
Where do you find that?
So I'm glad you asked. So if you go to usually that kind of stuff is not mainstream, like you would find in your companies that are traded on major markets such as Amazon, Google, Apple. So you go to otcmarkets.com, and OTC Markets is basically an area where you'll find any kind of news on any OTC stock. You know, any kind of disclosure, statements. You know, when they release like a quarterly statement or quarterly filing. And the nice thing about OTC Markets as well is that they will show you, you know, if they are disclosing their financial statements like on time. So a legitimate company is going to release their quarterly statements actually quarterly, you know, every 90 days. Some of these companies aren't on top of that. You know, they don't have, you know, adequate accounting or anything like that, something along those lines, and they will tell you. So
can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
How, with OTC specifically, how frequent do pump and dumps happen where one of the executive board members will buy a huge amount of share, and knowing that people like you and like your chat are following this, and then just dump it as soon as everyone else starts buying?
So that does happen from time to time, but the way to sniff out stuff like that is to check out dilution, you know, stuff like that. So like if it's a company that is severely in debt and they're trying to pump this up just to get the price per share up so they can do a reverse split or something like that, then, you know, that makes sense for them. So that's why it's important to know the share structure of a company and, you know, the float, you want to make sure it has a low float, that sort of thing. And you can learn all of that within our chat group, and then on my channel I have plenty of videos that go over some of that stuff. But here's just an example of otcmarkets.com. I can show you guys here, for those of you who haven't seen this before. It's a very good tool that I use to find any kind of news on any specific OTC stock. And so you can go in here, you know, you basically search just like a Google search function, any ticker. And this one here, it says it's OTC pink, which means that it's up to date on all of their filings. Sometimes you'll see a stop sign here, sometimes you'll see a skull and crossbones, and you'll hear that jargon a lot within OTC traders because they follow this so closely. So that's kind of basically it in a nutshell for a beginner. Like, you know, when you're doing your own due diligence and when you're thinking about investing in a company, obviously you want to find out everything there is to know about it.
Right, of course.
Whereas, like, you know, our other traders such as Ricky doesn't really care so much about that. He just cares about the technical side of it and just riding the momentum and selling at it, you know, buying in at a support, buying in a support, selling at a resistance, that sort of thing.
Now, I know
we trade a little bit differently.
So with OTC, is short selling a thing?
Not so much.
Not so much.
Right. You don't have things like stop losses and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you just kind of have to have a mental stop loss and get out when you have set that.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Okay. Number one, you were talking about how you follow the executives, right? I forgot the specific term. Phrase I used. Yeah, Form 4. How you follow the Form 4, right? And I know that that's not the only indicator for value. So what else do y'all consider valuable information?
So sometimes it'll just depend on like volume, right? So if a stock is being traded, like say it's at 0007, and all of a sudden this volume starts kicking in when it's been dormant for like 5 or 6 months, usually that's a good indicator that if there's investors looking at this and it's starting to gain some traction, and not just a one-time, oh, it's going to get pumped up 1,000% in a couple hours, and then the bottom's going to drop out of it. You're looking for some of that consistent gain.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. We're at a Starbucks in case you don't know. So that's one of those things where you can kind of identify whether or not it's a pump and dump.
Okay, cool. Second question, right? How you threw the phrase volatile out earlier. Now, by volatile, does that automatically transcend to being an aggressive trade?
Absolutely. Yeah. So these stocks can go up 500% in a day, and then they can go down 500% in an hour. You know, so that's what I mean when we're
so it's like literally,
yeah.
You check it. How often do you check it? How often do you check your
So my strategy is typically on swing trades. So I will buy into something and probably hang in it for like a week or so until I see it go up. And I have a mental stop on it. So like if I say, okay, I'm going to buy in at 0007, and I have reason to believe that it's probably going to double, oftentimes I'll sell my capital once it doubles and then just ride the profit. And get out whenever I feel comfortable getting out.
Gotcha. Cool.
Because it's nothing really to see an OTC double like that.
So, okay, final question that I have for you. What do you use to trade?
I'm sorry?
What app
What
do you
platforms?
use to trade? Yeah, what platforms?
Awesome question. So the two best platforms that I've found in my experience to trade with is TD Ameritrade and E-Trade.
Okay, I know that both of those have account minimums, though, correct?
No.
No.
No account minimums. If you open a cash account, you can...
What's the commission percentage?
So we can get into that later.
Oh,
but,
sorry.
That's fine. But that's a little more specific. But, if I'm sure you probably heard of like Robinhood or something like that. There's free trading platforms. They don't trade OTCs. Primarily because they don't have the support for it. But, those are the two main platforms that I like.
So TD Ameritrade and E-Trade.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let me see if there's any other questions. I'm sure you don't want like a 30-minute
That's fine.
I mean, I've been researching this for, like I said, 3 years. Not necessarily OTC, but I'm a firm believer in not going to a bank to open up a business.
Right.
If you're going to open up, you need to open up with your own money, and that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because I have a 5-year plan to where by the time I'm 45, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done working.
Right.
And I know that I'm going to have to work hard. This isn't something that's just going to be quick and easy. I know there's some people, friends from high school, I think trading is like, oh yeah, let's make a quick buck. I mean,
it's not something that's great because it's not something that you should go in thinking that you're going to get rich quick doing.
Oh, of course.
And it takes just as much work, if not more, than maybe an average day job. The reason that I do it is because I just love it. I love the volatility. I love the potential it has, and it's something that I just it's something that you really have to enjoy doing.
So well, I asked you this question earlier today, but I want to ask you one more time. If I start with $200 a month and I invest $200, I keep increasing my portfolio, right? And what do you think the potential is for you growing that money?
Something like that, it just depends, right? I mean, it depends on the market. It depends on how well you're doing your own due diligence. We're not here to really hold your hand on anything.
Oh, of course.
The reason I say this is because some people may expect that we're just going to say, okay, here's where you buy, and we want you to sell here, because we're not here to do that. We want to make sure that you can go up and do it on your own to give you that power,
right.
Because that, it goes back to that old saying, where if you teach a man to fish,
Exactly.
That's basically it. Like, we have traders within our group I have one guy, his very first trade ever on the market, he made $28,000 on the stock. So, the potential's there, the potential's real. It's just up to the individual and the work
to do. Of course, yeah, of course.
But, I appreciate you, just sitting down with me, Matt, and I'm glad I made a new friend today. And,
yes, sir.
And thanks for watching today, guys. I appreciate you watching as well.
I just want to say one more thing. Everyone here in Houston appreciates Brad and Ricky for just coming out and volunteering and helping us. We had so much flooding, so much damage. The fact that they came all the way from where they came from to help out, it means the world. So if you're watching from Houston, definitely leave a comment showing your love, because that's just what we do from Texas, right?
By the way, everything is big in Texas. I've already figured that out. So the cliche is true. All right. So Matt just asked me, how does he get into the Techbuds-Solutions group? And so the really easy answer to that question is that we have a free Facebook page that you can join, and then you can also sign up to join our Discord chat group. So I'm showing this to Matt right now. Matt, if you don't mind, he's joining the group right now. I'll go ahead and approve him, and that'll get him access to our Discord chat group, and then he can go ahead and view all of the resources that he has for absolutely free. As well as my YouTube channel, and I'll put all the links to Facebook as well as our other Techbuds-Solutions affiliates in the description below. And that is all I got for you guys. Watching a good day, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you learned something today, and I will see you all later. B Smith is out.